PM Gati Shakti has been personally crafted by Honorable Prime Minister over last 1.5 years to ensure that the governmental resources, public funds are optimally deployed to give the best possible infrastructural services to the common man. The common refrain from all the ministries involved and the stakeholders is that government is trying to do a lot of things, but we are unable to get full benefit of it. Everybody realizes that a lot of activity is going on, but they are unable to get the benefit of it. That there is something holding back the full potential of the infrastructure being created by government from contributing to the public welfare. So this was properly and clinically understood by Honorable Prime Minister, and under his guidance, PM Gati Shakti was crafted over last 1.5 years. The way he corralled all the governmental departments into acting in unison to create this platform is another story in itself. The main idea in the entire exercise is that the ultimate objective of ease of living for the common man should be facilitated by whatever government is doing. The infrastructure which is being created, suppose a metro rail is being created, metro rail facility is being given to a city, the common man should benefit by reduction in travel time, reduction in the cost of travel, and also the convenience of reaching home earlier than what he used to do. But if metro station is far away, is not connected with bus route or rail route, or it becomes very difficult, tough to get an auto rickshaw from metro station to the nearest residential colony, the common man will not be able to use that. This is one example. I can cite you hundreds of such examples which will show that the governmental resources, though deployed fruitfully, were not optimally utilized and are not giving the ease of living for the common man. Such examples abound in the highway sector, the railway sector, civil aviation, and any infrastructure sector you take, there are stories to tell. Similarly, the economic infrastructure we are creating. There will be a beautiful expressway passing, say, 50 kilometers away from the industrial node selected by the state government or the industrial cluster being developed by Government of India. But the highway to the industrial cluster, the connectivity will be absent. There will be queues near the ports. There will be queues near the junction, and traffic junction will make life of the industrialist and the common man living in that area a hell. So these kind of examples motivated every part of this government to ensure that common man, the businessman, get full potential out of the entire exercise. That's why an unified thinking in planning of each infrastructure project. As Prime Minister was explaining, if you plan separately, you implement it separately. Whatever you do will be patchwork. After you make a railway plan, you prepare a 30-year or 50-year railway plan and try to marry it with the industrial corridor action plan, then what will happen is it will be a patchwork. The main line will be going somewhere and you should have an ideal length, ideal run of the railway and the containers for another 50 to 100 kilometers. Similar is the case with any major transport mode planning. So while planning itself, while conceptualization itself, the unity has to come into the thinking of various ministries and departments. That's the crucial point which Honorable Prime Minister underlined. And for that, he made us available a very beautiful technique. There is a platform which also he supervised very closely. BISAG, which is an offshoot of Government of India agency, has given us the platform, the digital platform, which can provide us an integrative way of conceptualizing and planning various infrastructure projects. Earlier, we used to do the district planning, decentralized planning exercises some 30, 40 years ago. So that was a preliminary kind of a thing, which was in a very rudimentary kind of planning, which we were trained in. Now, it will not be the same thing. It's not something which Soviet Russia did in terms of central planning, or some other people advocated in 1950s and 60s decentralized planning. It's neither of that. So the understanding has to be clear that we are not centralizing everything. We are not trying to decentralize everything. We are only bringing in unity of thought. If we take a district or if we take an industrial area, what are the needs of that area? This will be understood by each of the stakeholder, each of the infrastructure ministry thoroughly, and the plan will incorporate what that industrial node requires. Similarly, a city, what that city needs, what is the growth potential of that city, and how each of the infrastructure ministries should cater to development of that. That's the way, that's the concept which has been utilized in this. For that, a digital platform which will be dynamic, which will also help us to optimize the resources, has been made available. That's going to be a game changer. And all the ministries, if we onboard ourselves into it and ensure that each of our initiatives is taken out of it and contributed to it, then in course of time, it will become a kind of a planning tool for every level of the government. The second important aspect which the road transport group deliberated and also which was thought about in the Honorable Prime Minister's direction and guidance to us is the institutional framework. Entire thing has to be institutionalized in such a fashion, in a seamless fashion, that it should not cause further delays. So far, we have been delaying infrastructure projects in the name of the clearance, environmental clearance, forest clearance, land acquisition, or the municipality clearance, utility shifting. So all sorts of delays were happening. This is not another step of central planning clearance. That's not the idea here. So while thinking of the project itself, it will be ingrained in our minds. So the institutional framework will be to facilitate that. The network planning group, which will be under the aegis of the NICDC or the DPIIT, will ensure that every part of government, every part of the institutional framework is tuned to the integrative way of thinking in planning the project itself. So the network planning group or the committee of secretaries will ensure that the planning itself is done appropriately and not at the clearance level. So I again stress, this is not a kind of a repetition of a Soviet style of planning. That's why this government had abolished the planning commission, thinking that centralized planning will not really bring out the entire potential of the market-run society like India. So this will not be a centralized planning. This will be a kind of integration in view of the ease of living and ease of doing business. So the institutions which are being thought of being strengthened or being set up will contribute to this concept of ensuring the collective way of thinking at the conceptualization state itself. And finally, who are the main players in this? When a road is being built or when a railway is being planned or an airport is being planned, all of us know it's not dreamt by any one of the officers here. It comes from the public, is taken up by the local leaders, and finally approved by the competent ones in the government. So the stakeholder consultation also has to be institutionalized. Who are going to benefit? Who are the intended beneficiaries? And is there any disconnect between the two, the way we are planning? That exercise has to be institutionalized. If we don't do that, what we will be creating will not give the intended objective, and we may end up wasting precious public funds So the stakeholder consultation at every level has to be infused into our planning processes. Somehow it's happening already in a very informal or rudimentary fashion, which has to be professionally managed by the ministries themselves in such a way that the intended objectives and the achieved objectives do not have any deviation between them. So these are the main aspects which I think characterized Gati Shakti as is being conceptualized, and the ultimate aim as enunciated by Honorable Prime Minister yesterday is this is our will to progress, and it should infuse all our work for progress and should create wealth for progress by planning for the progress in an integrative fashion and by preferring the progressive thinking processes. Thank you very much.